All right, everybody. You know what time it is. It's time for the Real Talk Sports Show. And that broadcast is coming up right now. Bam! All right, everybody. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I am your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons. And we thank God for all those of you who are watching us here on various platforms, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Twitter. We don't care. We love you all, especially those of you who are watching on the replay on Periscope, which will soon be Twitter TV. And we're very, very thankful also to those who are listening to the audio only on WIGO 1570 Atlanta's Incredible Radio. Big shout out to all you guys as well. Well, I don't do this show by my own lonesome. Of course, I have the lovely queen herself, Tree Dolman, is in the building. And welcome back.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Well, you look fabulous there, ma'am, in your bright spring colors.
Yes, repping Michigan.
Yeah, I see that. I was actually going to do something similar, but I said the last time I wore team's color, the team lost. I don't want to jinx anybody, so I said, let me just go ahead and just be neutral, just wear regular peach colors and have it like that. Well, yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of good stuff tonight. Let's take a look at the topics for those of you who are watching. We got the Hawks winning. We got, of course, it's not Marco Madness, a little misprint there. It's actually March Madness. We got a great community outreach segment at our 8:30 time frame with Miss Elaine Armster. She's going to be talking about her 2021 Women's History event. And unfortunately, we're going to talk a little bit about the troubles facing Houston quarterback Desean Watson, a little bit about the NFL draft. And, of course, we're going to talk about the Falcons and some of their free agent signings. So, again, we have a big show tonight, and we have hopefully lots of guests that are going to be joining us, including yourself. If you want to join us on the broadcast, please do, ma'am and sir. We'd be love to have you join us on the show. I will put up the link. Excuse me, in just a second. Well, before I go any further, I can get my throat untangled here. Tree, give me just a quick little perspective on how you spent your weekend watching March Madness.
Well, I was watching March Madness. I was happy some of the games, disappointed other games. It was very emotional up and down because at one point in my bracket, I'm tied for first, then I'm tied for third, then I'm back tied for first. And it's just like, wow, all of these upsets, and especially with the Big Ten. I am just like, oh my goodness. As I told you guys, this year I picked Big Ten, pretty much any team. It didn't matter what they were ranked. I picked Big Ten to win over pretty much everybody. I had the Big Ten going to the Final Four, of course, at least two teams, and Ohio State being out just really shocked and messed up my bracket. And then when Iowa lost too. So it's been an interesting but fun weekend because I do love that basketball is on 24/7 just about.
Yeah, no doubt. It was kind of a rough for those who are Big Ten fans. We had, I believe, 9 teams that started, and we're now down to just in the nitty-gritty. Of course, the main flag waver is Michigan, and they are a top seed, so we look forward to them doing some stuff. I really was kind of taken aback at number 1 seed Illinois getting bounced out early.
Yeah, me too. I actually had Illinois winning one of my brackets. So that messed that bracket up. But I still have Michigan and Gonzaga in the other 2 brackets winning. And I was really shocked. I've been watching these games. At the same token, I must say that I'm so happy for these Cinderella teams and these other teams because they're really playing hard, and you can't take that away from them. This has been the toughest season, I believe, ever in life that these players have had to go through. And so for the players to come in there and believe, if you notice, that's what they're all saying. We believe that we could win. So they went out there and they played like it. And that's what it's all about. That's the great thing about March Madness. It doesn't matter what number you're ranked. It's just a number. What matters is what you do when you go out on that court. And these teams are saying, we don't care if we're ranked 15th. We don't care if we're ranked 10th or 11th. We're going to come out here and we're going to play and we're going to leave it all on the court and look where it's getting them. It's really a joy to see.
Yeah, no doubt. We have some teams that some of the pundits did predict might do this. One of them was Oral Roberts. They had not been in a tournament for a long time, and so it's very interesting. A 15 seed now finds itself in the Sweet 16. Well, I tell you, anytime we talk basketball, you already know we have to bring in the experts. This gentleman is sought after all over the country from his basketball knowledge. He was often featured here and still is featured here on the number one sports station on the radio in the Atlanta metro area, 92.9 The Game. Here's our own basketball savant, the one and only Desean Tate is back in the building. Sir, welcome back. Uh-oh. I done grease you up too much, man. Too much grease. Hang on, let me put my shades on. Hold on. Let's see if I can find my shades. I can slow it down a little bit for you if you want. Yeah. Welcome back there, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you for sharing this space and the beautiful platform that you have. As you can see, I got my shirt on, so I'm all ready and tightened up and all ready to go. I'm shaking my head. I got a good feeling that by looking over my shoulder that Tree probably understands why I'm shaking my head. But listen, it's all about the upsets. It's all about the buzzer beaters. And listen, I'm ear to ear. You get 3 weeks of the most unpredictable. It's the most unpredictable 3 weeks in all of sports. So I'm going to sit back, enjoy it the best that I possibly can, and I'm all in my element, so thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, man. We are excited, as always, to have you back in the building. It's great stuff to see March Madness going on. And as usual, the shockers. For you, kind of what has been the biggest surprise so far is in this tournament?
I think that it is the Oral Roberts. Moving on, becoming the first number 2 seed to make to the Sweet 16 since Florida Gulf Coast and Dunk City, where Andy Enfield, who's currently the USC head coach, has done so. The Abilene Christian in Ohio upset really didn't surprise me nearly as much. I actually picked both of those games and took that to local, regional, national radio and whatnot. So I felt pretty good and pretty confident and comfortable about those ones. But I think more than anything, Oral Roberts has been the bracket buster. And you know what I love about March Madness probably more than anything else is when we're filling out those brackets, there's always that one game that ends up busting your bracket up and you're like, okay, I'm done. I've had it. My bracket is done. It's finished. I'm going to crumble it up and throw it in the wastebasket. It's done. But little do you know is that wasn't even the game just yet. It's the one coming later on tonight or tomorrow that's just going to make you say, okay, now nobody has a perfect bracket. It's impossible. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to light it on fire. I'm going to put it in the shredder and I'm going to go in the kitchen and I'm going to pour me up something nice, a nice beverage, kick my shoes off, kick my heels up, man, and then kind of enjoy the tournament like everybody else.
Wow. He said set everything on fire.
He did.
Doggone it. Well, yeah, so the other thing that's been very, very interesting about the tournament is really, and Tree, this has got to be right up your alley, is one of the things that has struck me is it has been the call to duty by the defense. It seems that every team that has pulled off these wins, defensively, they have been stout.
As I've always said, defense wins championships. But yes, you have to have defense. If you look at a lot of the teams that are winning, it's because they're playing defense and they're getting rebounds. And then also turnovers are key.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And so the other thing that really kind of got me is also the old saying is speed kills. And we immediately saw that, which you often, Desean, you might want to talk about this a little bit. The reason why you get these situations is that a team will go from playing a team with one style of play, and then they immediately have to play a team that has a totally different style. And we saw that when Baylor in the second round just was like a buzzsaw, and they looked like the whole game they were playing 2 or 3 steps faster than their opponent.
Yeah, Baylor is just one of those teams that, honestly, I think it's going to be more of a disappointment in some cases, depending on who you ask. I know it's March Madness and it's all about surviving and advancing and doing what you're supposed to do to get there. But I think a lot of people will probably be disappointed if they didn't see a Gonzaga and Baylor match up in the championship, if I'm just being honest. That was a game that was supposed to be played earlier this year, postponed or canceled because of COVID. And even more so, listen, those are two of the top teams, not just from this year, but from last year that we didn't have a chance to finish. You start looking at the top teams from last year being Gonzaga, Baylor, Dayton, and San Diego State in that particular year. These two teams are those that just picked up where they left off. Now, the thing for a team like Baylor, which obviously puts them over the hump, is that they have the experience that have come back and spurned away from the NBA draft, from exercising their right for the NBA draft. But even more so, the concerning part for me sometimes is the fact that they're so guard led and guard heavy, which is very important when you want to have a successful bracket in this time of the year and want to survive and advance, which is the slogan. But they don't have nearly enough depth in the front court, and I think that that's just something that could be ultimately an Achilles heel for them down the stretch potentially.
Well, over the years, I mean, hasn't that been something that we've seen, especially recently, that guard play really is kind of the key to going deep into the tournament?
Yeah, it is. And there's a couple of different elements to that. I mean, yes, definitely the guard play obviously makes a huge difference. I'm not sure how far back you can go in the NCAA national championship team that didn't have superb or superior guard play. Outside of that, you start factoring in, you've got to have experienced teams as well. That always helps when it's time to fill out that bracket or even finish up. You want to go out there and play some bets if you're into the gambling and the sports book type of deal and you're looking for some games on who you should take this week. Go with the experienced teams. Look on that roster. Who's the upperclassmen, the juniors and the seniors, fifth year seniors and such on a lot of these teams. And then, of course, you know that this is a coaches league. We know that the NBA is a players league. This is a coaches league. It's about the coaches. A lot of Hall of Fame coaches that are in this thing. The crazy part about the teams that are existing still in the NCAA tournament this year, outside of Villanova, who has won 2 championships in the last handful of years, you got to go back 18 years to Syracuse, who's the last team besides Villanova to win, the most recent team besides Villanova to win a national championship, and that was in 2003 with Carmelo. Now, if you want to go back further than that, you don't have teams that really has won many national championships. I mean, for Oregon, you might have to go back to 1939, which is the first time this thing was played. But I know that you have Arkansas that is backing up Syracuse in that particular department where they last won a national championship in 94. So if not nothing else, and I know that's a lot of information for you, please forgive me. I talk a lot if my mom didn't warn you first. The fact of the matter of it being that we're going to have an opportunity to maybe see somebody get crowned a national champion that's never been crowned before, maybe coming from a big major conference, or even perhaps seeing some teams that's never made it to a Final Four or going to be returning to the Final Four, Loyola Chicago. So you just never really know, but I think it should be interesting to say the least.
All right. So now I know that there's been a lot of feeling some kind of way by my co-host because the Big Ten, she was kind of flexing at the beginning. Oh, yeah, we got 9 teams in, top 20 teams the first. And now we're down to, I think we have 2 teams left that we got now from the Big Ten. What do we have? Oh, you mean like the 10?
Let's be clear. I'm still flexing. Okay. So it's not that I was flexing. I'm still proud of the Big Ten, regardless of how the teams played or if they did or did not advance. We still started with the most teams out of any conference. And so I'm still proud of the Big Ten and I'm still flexing.
Oh, she's still. Well, let's go to social media for just a second. A good friend of this show, Mr. Vincent Turner's got a few comments here. Let me get my glasses on because, as you know, I can't read too good without them. They put it on here. He said, hold up, pick Suway. He is a big Arkansas man. SEC, obviously making some noise. Alabama, Arkansas. Vince is an Arkansas graduate. He says, Moses Moody is the truth. Go Hogs. And he said, tell Desean, don't front. Talk about them Hogs at Mr. Moody. So as you can see, Mr. Turner is lighting up our social media. And he's just going wild here. Uh-oh. Now here's some real shade. He said the Big Ten is overrated.
Negative, sir. Negative, Vincent. Negative. We are not overrated.
Wow.
It's
Well,
March Madness. Anything can happen. We're not overrated. Don't hate.
Can I touch on that for a second from Mr. Vincent Turner?
Yes, sir. He threw it right at you, sir. Go right ahead. Jump in there.
Okay, let's make this as simple as possible. First of all, I'm not nearly as much of a conference guy than I am a my program guy. If I had to represent one, of course, it would be the Big Ten because that's where I'm born and raised and where the particular program that I represent resides. Now, outside of that, we can say the Big Ten is overrated. We can say that they're not the best team in the best conference in the country. But I think, and when you start having those conversations, you have to factor in multiple things, and one of those things is being the fact that if they're not, then who is? If we're looking at who got the most teams in into the Sweet 16, that being the Pac-12 conference, I'm not sure that anybody would tell you, if they're being honest, yet still, nor before the games were even played, that the Pac-12 was the best conference in the country. Now, with that being said, I also believe that it's about what your definition is of best in the country in terms of the conferences. If you are a person that solely believes on end result and end result only is what makes you the best, then we're having a totally different conversation. Partially because does that mean that whoever wins the championship technically is the best conference in the country? So if you don't have any more SEC teams, because around this time next week, we're going to be talking about 4 teams being in. What if there are no Pac-12 teams in there? What if there is no SEC teams? In that case, who do you still determine was the best conference in the country? Now, to me, who I consider to be the best is the conference with top to bottom, the best teams in them going into the NCAA tournament. That's personally how I see it. The ones that are the best group of teams that are grouped together to make a conference. But I'm even curious to know how people feel about conferences like the Big 12, who's very quite a few people even said, even though I think the Big 10 is the best conference in the country, I think it's 1A and 1B with the Big 12. Guess what? I don't hear anybody trash talking the Big 12. They only have one team left in that thing as well. So I definitely think that there's more, depending on which way you're twisting the pendulum a little bit to determine exactly what you mean by best conference or somebody being overrated. I think that they just underachieved, and I think that's possible in March, like what Tree was saying.
Well, we got to do this, guys. We got, as you can see, we got everything buzzing and popping here. Mr. Turner threw one more piece of shade up there. He talks about how many teams are left in the Big Ten. He said Michigan State, the Sparties are all gone, but that's okay because you guys, I don't want you to go away. Why? Because we have more coming from the Real Talk Sports Show. But we got to take a break because we're on the radio, but we'll be back in just a moment. Don't go nowhere, please. Thank you. Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our #1 priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
And we are back here. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast to you on every platform we can. That's right. We're on YouTube Live. We're on Facebook Live. We're on Periscope, which soon will be Twitter TV. We're also on Twitch. That's right. We're on Twitch as well. And we also are on Roku television on not one, but 2 channels. We're on the C Room Sports and Entertainment Network, and we're on the Phoenix Entertainment Network, broadcasting to thousands So we thank you for those of you who are joining us, especially those of you watching us on the replay. We got great guests in here, upper left-hand corner, right-hand corner, depending on how you're watching. He is our basketball savant, Mr. Desean Tate, in the building. We have the queen herself, the lovely Miss Tree Dolman, and down at the bottom, the guy, the minister, yours truly, Jonathan Simmons, in the building, and what we call the lockdown living room. Well, so we're going to talk a little bit more about the NCAA, and then we want to shift to talk about another team playing some big-time basketball. Hey, hang on one second. Mr. Football is all in his feelings now because, see, he's old like me, so he remembers the Arkansas Razorbacks when they were with Nolan Richardson back in the 90s, giving you 40 minutes of HE-double LL. So let's see what he has to say about that. Here's his comments here on social media. As you can see, they're real long. He wrote a book. I got to get the glasses on to read this. He says, hey, take that stuff somewhere else. He's talking about Sparty. He's saying here, he's talking about Michigan's gone. Oh, Michigan's gone. Michigan's still there, brother.
Michigan's still there.
Still in the business. He says, sees the Hogs in the next round. He says, tell Miss Tree he got some cash on it. And that goes from Mr. Tate. I'm taking the Hogs all the way, all day with Moses Moody.
Well, first of all, Vincent, I don't bet, so I can't put any cash on anything. I just like to talk sports, but I refuse to ever bet with sports or anything else. But as you see, I'm rocking the Michigan shirt because our men are still in it, and so are our women. So I'm rocking Michigan, go blue all day, and we'll just agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah, Mr. Football is just a little excitable today. But yeah, like I said, great stuff all the way. And we got to give a big shout out to Pac-12 because, yeah, they did put a lot of teams in. But I think a lot of people thought the Pac-12 was soft. A lot of people, I think, going in this thought they were overrated. But what we're seeing is an Oregon team, especially that's now completely healthy. They are playing the way they played earlier in the season, where they were a top 10 team early on. And that's really it. Big also shouts to Villanova. Like you mentioned, man, a team that has been won this thing multiple times, back in here, having to deal with COVID, shortened season, their props as well. And, of course, Michigan, who's been at the top of the leaderboard all season long, showing you some extra juice there against LSU. Back and forth game, runs this way, runs that way, but finally throwing a knockout with a big, I think it was like 16-5 run late in the second half to end it all and send Michigan on to the Sweet 16. Well, listen, if you guys want to comment in on the show, please go ahead. Social media, you can see what we do is if you put your information on social media, your comment, we will pop you on the screen so you can say or ask a comment to the guests. We don't mind doing that as well. And also, here's what I'm going to do. If you're feeling kind of swaggerlicious, I'm going to go ahead and put it up here. We can let you join the show. I'm going to put the link here on social media right now so y'all might see it. And if you hit that link, and you'll see it in just a moment, and bam, there's the link. If you click on that link, paste it into your cell phone, your tablet, whatever you might be on your laptop, you can actually join the show. If you feeling you got something to say, you can jump right in the show and we'll let you come on. You can hide behind your avatar if you like. I would just say hide. If you like to just use your avatar, you can do that. Or in fact, if you want to put your face on the screen, we won't embarrass you. You can come on there. So again, one more time, here's the link to join the show. You can be a part of it. And you can join our basketball savant, Mr. Desean Tate, and the queen herself, Miss Tree Dolman. All right. Speaking of basketball, how about them Hawks?
I'm sorry. Can we go back to March Madness first?
Go ahead, Queen.
We have to talk about how my women were treated with the NCAA. I don't know if you saw the pictures of the difference in the weight room that the men had and the women's weight room, where it wasn't even a weight room. It was one rack of free weights and some yoga mats. You don't call that a weight room. And I think they had 2 bites. Let's not talk about the food, the difference in the food that the women get and that the men get. And let's not talk about the swag bag that the women got and that the men got. I mean, I'm truly appalled. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. All of the women's swag bag items said NCAA women. Now, one item said March Madness. And then you get the men, and oh my goodness, it's like 4 or 5 times the amount of items, and everything says March Madness, March Madness, March Madness. Well, guess what? The women are in March Madness too. And so I'm so disappointed, and I just need to say this. I'm disappointed because women deserve better. They deserve better. They're out there busting their tails. They work hard. I was also an NCAA women's athlete, and there is no way that any woman should get treated like that. That is just ridiculous. So I'm happy that the young lady posted her video. I'm happy that it went viral. I'm happy that the new weight room actually looks like a weight room. And I just know for myself, I'm just looking at what can I do. So I've already reached out to some people and some schools because I have a small business. And so if I can, I'm going to sponsor. I know with my personal alma mater, I don't know if it's legal, so I'm waiting to see. But I'm just looking to see what I can do to help make up for it because it really just blew my mind.
I think I'm gonna let Desean comment on this right quick. I'm gonna ease back for a second. I'm gonna let Desean because there's a lot of firepower. So Mr. Savant, you want to jump in there and got something to say?
Yeah. I like how you real slick passed the mic over to me. Just passed the torch. Let me get this out of the way first because I don't want this to be forgotten. Mr. Vincent Turner, you know my telephone number. Feel free. The beautiful tree does not bet, but lucky for you, I do. So feel free that we can definitely get down and do a little something with that because I'd be more than happy to get some assistance with paying some of these bills around here. Outside of that, with what Tree was just speaking upon, listen, I think that it's very clear that we're just in a different time and that, you know, the women are definitely more than deserving of equal opportunity as well as equal rights and everything all across the board of having the same things that the men do have as well. So I definitely agree with her from that standpoint. And sometimes that's just the reality of it. Sometimes it's not even really much of an entire conversation. I think the conversation is, you know, what are we going to do to prevent something like this happening, you know, down the road, or when it comes to something else that maybe the men are getting that the women are not. But that there does need to be some addressing in terms of how long it has taken, why it has taken that long, and things like that. So definitely, you know, want to give the women their flowers for putting in the hard work ethic that they have, not just for Tree, but just for all of the women, even women outside of sports. I think that that's just the easiest way for me to say it is that it is ridiculous. It is ludicrous, disgusting in so many ways. Because I could just imagine, you know, what if this was my niece? You know, what if this was a daughter? You know, what if this was my cousin, my mother, my grandmother, you know, my aunt, and so forth. So I definitely would want them to be treated the same way. I not that I understand because it's a business, yet still all across the board. But it's just been this way for so long, and it's just very unfortunate that there hasn't been more consideration for the women that are collegiate athletes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say something real quick, and then I'm gonna leave this alone because my co-host is with me every week, and I want her to throw nothing virtually through the screen and hit me something. I want to take it easy. Well, see, a lot of this really is about money. I mean, that's really what it gets down to. I'm not trying to again throw any kind of shade, but it's really about money. And the realities is that right now, I'm not saying tomorrow or next week or next year. Right now, the men's basketball generates a lot of money, significantly more money in TV contracts, revenue, all that kind of stuff versus the women. So a lot of that is monetarily driven. That's right or wrong. That's just the way it is. And it's even, you can say, even if you watch the way the games are programmed and shown on television, same thing. I mean, the women are not given, in oftentimes, the same amount of marquee spots on the air as the men do. That's just the way it is. Now,
but that's understandable.
Huh?
I understand that.
Well, then, now how bad were the swag bags? I didn't see them. Like, what they put them in paper bags or something? Like, what they do? I mean, I know you're saying they didn't put the logo on there. I don't know. Let me not get into this. I'm gonna get into trouble. So let me stop right here.
I just want to say this quickly because I'm not one of the women. Do I think yes, equality? Yes, but at the same token, I do understand that the NCAA is a nonprofit organization, and I do understand that the men make entirely, it's not even close to the amount of money that the men's March Madness program brings in as opposed to the women's. So my thing is not so much, should everything be exactly the same? No, you can't do that, because you can't give men and women the same things, right? My thing is, can you at least put some thought into it? Like, you can't even call what the women had a weight room. So I understand it being a smaller scale, even though I may or may not think that it's right, and most women don't. When it comes to the championship, I think all teams should have the same at that point. Now, we all know in college sports that most programs are not able to fund themselves, but the football program typically at universities is what funds the other sports, volleyball, track and field. It's not the particular sports that does that. So in the college arena, I do think that, yes, you should spread the money around. So I do get that the men's sports make more, but can you at least think about the women? Can you at least make them feel appreciated? You know, and I do hear where a lot of women are saying with the WNBA, they want to get paid the same as the men. Do I agree with that? Personally, if you can bring in the revenue of the men, then yes, you should get paid the same as the men. But I'm also a realist. You have to think about the fact that I tried out for the Atlanta Dream when they first came to Atlanta. And I also wanted to play professional volleyball in the United States. I also knew what I was getting into. I knew the amount of revenue that I would be making if I did make the team, the minimum. So if you want to get paid the same amount as the men, then you need to do what you need to do to bring in the fans and get the TV deals and make the game where people want to come. So that's a different conversation when you're talking about professions. But when it comes to college, if you just look, and I'll send you the picture, if you just see the difference, where it was just like they didn't put thought into the women. And that's the disappointing part. You thinking about the men with all of these things, but all of these teams made it to March Madness. March Madness should be special for everybody. And that's just what I'm saying. So I do see your point about the men bringing in way more money. You can't even compare.
All right, we're going to go to a quick break. We got to stay right in the point line because we do have our community outreach segment. We have to stop right here. She's coming up in just a moment. Before we do that, we got to pay some bills. You listen to the Real Talk Sports Show. Keep it locked right here for more great stuff coming up about Women's History Month. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back. Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net. Yeah, I kind of like that beat, that music. Makes me feel like luxurious. Amen. Well, listen, we each and every week always have a community outreach segment where we talk about people doing great things in the community. And this week is no different. This young lady is the founder of a great organization called Linkscape 360. But beyond that, she also did something that was marvelous. A couple of years ago, she decided that she wanted to personally get involved, and she actually created and sponsored her own Women's History Month event. She's also a good friend of the show. She's been on to join us on several different occasions. My good buddy, Miss Elaine Armster, is now in the building. Elaine, are you there?
Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Well, good to have you with us, and certainly kudos and congratulations to you with this wonderful event that you do each and every year. And although you've had to do things a little bit differently this year, we'd love to have you tell us a little bit about what you have done and what you have coming up.
Well, thank you so much, Jonathan. It's a pleasure to see you. Ms. Tree, it's wonderful to be on with you as well. You have been representing for the ladies, and I've enjoyed hearing the commentary. And what I'd like to share is that actually this was a brainchild of a couple of business women in the Northwest Georgia area. A couple of us met for breakfast, at the Jordan Club. And it was on the Go Red for Women's Day back in February of 2018. And we were talking about
All right. I'm not sure if that was a pregnant pause because it was such a stunning event they were talking about. But hopefully we will get Elaine back on with us to talk more about what she has going on in Black History Month. Let me just make sure her mic is not muted. Let me take a double check. It is not. I will just she's going to join us here from another venue. So let's try here. She looks to come back on with us again. Again, listen to the Real Talk Sports Show, watching the Real Talk Sports Show. Good stuff here. We're talking to our community outreach person of the week, Miss Elaine Armster, talking about her wonderful, wonderful event that she does called Women's History Month. And I'm going to see if I can let you guys kind of see. Here is the actual flyer that they have out. I'll get that up for you guys here so you can take a better look at it, because it's just a great event. I actually had a chance to attend it when it was live. There it is. They're actually doing something called the Encore. They actually had a virtual event last week, and they are now going to do a redo or encore. It is coming up on, it looks like on March the 29th, which is next week. And the special guest host will be these ladies right here. For those of you who are Falcons fans, the Falcons cheerleaders are the guest host of this event. So you'll be able to catch up with them. If you are a Falcons fan, you probably have not seen the Falcons cheerleaders in some time, but they will be there virtually live on the scene for you to check them out. I'm going to check again here and see if Elaine is back with us. Elaine, are you there?
Yes, I am. And thank you
there
so
she
much.
is.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I appreciate you telling everyone about their opportunity to see the Falcon cheerleaders who haven't actually taken the field in 2 years. And as well, it's also a great opportunity to share with the audience that we had great cooperation from all the sports team. Mike Plant, the president and CEO of the Atlanta Braves Development Company, served as an honorary co-chair, as well as Cammie Mackey, the executive vice president of the Hawks, was another one of our co-chairs. So we were very, very fortunate to have the Atlanta professional sports teams involved. And Jonathan, you were involved and you rocked the mic, and you rocked the mic right.
Well, we were very excited to be a part of it. And when we were involved, we did our own spotlight. We talked about a young lady that is doing some great things. Tree mentioned the WNBA. And I'll just pop her up right here really quickly here. You guys can kind of see. Remember, Miss Renee Montgomery, she is now the very first WNBA player to actually have her own franchise. She is going to be part owner of the Atlanta Dream. She has ousted, let me not use that word, that's a little political. They have bought out the controversial majority owner, Kelly Loeffler, and now she is the proud first time ever WNBA player to actually go ahead and be a part of the ownership team. So kudos to her. And Elaine, congratulations to you for having her as part of your Women's History Month Spotlight. And like I said, we're having a little technical difficulties today, but that's okay. These things do happen. We get a few little worms in the machine that cannot be helped. Again, but like I said, she's doing some great stuff, Tree. I mean, what does it make you think about to see how this woman basically marshaled together with a couple other women to actually have this event, which actually 2 years ago was held at the one of the main venue rooms at the Cobb Galleria, not Cobb Galleria, the Cobb Energy Center.
That's a beautiful facility. I love that they have that event because it's so important and so needed to celebrate other women. There are so many women out in the world that are doing just marvelous things. Like I love the picture that you just posted up of Renee Montgomery. How phenomenal is that? When I was growing up, there was no WNBA. I didn't have a professional women's team in the United States that I could watch and say, hey, when I grow up, I want to play, or I want to do that for a living. And now you have the WNBA in existence, and now you have the first team owner who's part owner who played in the WNBA, and she's an executive. That is just phenomenal. I think that she's paving the way for so many other players and so many young girls. And so the fact that they have this event that celebrates great women like that and their achievements is just really great to see. It's
Y- y-
beautiful.
Yeah, and no doubt. And really, for those of you, I'm kind of blocked a little bit here in the picture, but that's okay. You don't need to see me. You can look at the two lovely ladies. I mean, she really, it was a tremendous, I don't want to say transformation, but basically she went from being just simply not simply, but a pro player to, she also became quite the fashion icon. She won and several endorsement deals. You can see her there in one of the outfits that she promotes there. And then, of course, as you know, the groundbreaking, now part owner of the Atlanta Dream. So yeah, just great stuff going on, and certainly women are to be celebrated. I myself am a proud papa of a grown woman, very grown, and we thank God for her and allow me to kind of crash out with her as she just to see her all the achievement that she's done, and as she begins to launch out her own business. Very very exciting to see what all women are doing. Not just in Women's History Month, but around the clock. We're going to try one more time to get Elaine Armster, who is our community outreach segment. She is the founder and CEO of Linkscape 360, a tremendous a firm that does quite a bit in terms of logistics and making sure that when you put together a town or a facility, that everything is spot on. So we're going to go here and make sure that we have her back here. Elaine, are you there? I think we have you now. Yep, there she is.
And I
Okay.
have enjoyed hearing. Yeah, yeah, here I am. Here I am. But one of the things I want to ask your listeners to do and your viewers is let's set a 15-second timer and have everybody go over to Eventbrite. There's no better time than the present to go ahead and grab your encore tickets.
There we go. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you could do me a great favor, I don't know if you have access to social media, but if you might be able to post up that link again on our page, we'll be more than happy to flex that on the screen. If not, we will make sure to pop that on the screen again before we get off the air. So again, there it is. There's actually the flyer. You guys can see it. It is called a Women's History Month Encore. And as you can see, a very fashionable lady there. And there will be many fashionable ladies virtually involved. And like I said, for those of you who are missing your Atlanta Falcons cheerleaders, there will be the host of the event. You can see them right there, and they are all ready to go and will be happily be hosting this event. So again, if you're able to do it, please, ma'am, please, sir, get involved in this event virtually. You will love it, and there will be some great things for you if you are willing to participate in the event. There's wonderful parting gifts and prizes, and like I said, just being able to network with so many women who are so powerful, that's got to be a great event.
Oh, I'm sure. I know it definitely will be. Networking is key. And it's nothing better than being around other positive women. That is just something that I love. When you're around other positive women, it just makes a difference.
Yeah, it does. I mean, there's one thing that we like to talk about, certainly as a man's point of view. It's been long known that every man who's really on his P's and Q's, usually somewhere lurking around, is a powerful woman who has got his back to help him out and to even partner with him to get some great things done. So yeah, huge shout out, and I'm down with the cause. Like I said again, I'm what, and here, you know what? Good news. We're going to go here for those of you who want to get involved. I'm going to go ahead and pop the link up. There is the link right there. You can see it. Click on it if you can onto social media. Just go ahead and you can go right to the link and you'll be able to be a part of that wonderful event. And Elaine finally just says, hey, join us. She wants you to be a part of it. Come on, get involved, do some great networking. You'll be surprised who you might meet at this event. Again, it's the Women's History Month Encore held, and I shouldn't say held, but certainly sponsored, lead sponsor and founder of Linkscape 360, and the woman who put it together behind the scenes with a wonderful cadre of very, very powerful and very, very bright women to do their own Women's History Month. Even though it's virtual, you'll love it. They'll have some great prizes. No bad swag bags with these young ladies, I can assure you.
That's funny. That was a good one.
None of that. All right, guys, listen, you know how this works. We always have to take these little breaks here, especially it's to take care of everybody. WIGO 1570, we want to give a big shout out to. That's how this program has started and how we continue to go on their program. Again, you can watch them on, I shouldn't say watch them, you can listen to them on WIGO 1570 on your dial. You also, cool thing, can go right to their website and click on WIGO1570.com. That's the new website. Click the listen live button, and you can hear us listen to us right there. And last but not least, we're on an app. We're on the free TuneIn Radio app. If you don't have it, download the app. It's free. Put in WIGO in the search engine, and voila, you'll find us broadcasting to you right here and right now. We got to take a break, but we'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show. Please don't go anywhere. You'll miss the good talk about the Falcons and the draft. Stay tuned.
All of NASCAR's drivers.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net. The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice. That's right, guys. If you need a voice, I'm your Huckleberry. We'd be more than happy to voice over. If you have a script, you're trying to get your marketing message out, please contact me. You saw the information on the screen. You can give me a call on the cell if you wish. You can hit me up at 678-410-9833. And like I said, again, we'd love to do any kind of voiceover. If you got some hold spots that you need, we have people come on here. So dial extension 4. I can do all that stuff for you. Again, give me a call, 678-410-9833, and I'll put a voice behind your marketing campaign or your hold button. I don't care. We will help you to sound very professional and very nice. Well, Tree, again, a huge weekend, obviously, with basketball. The Hawks, we didn't really get a chance to talk about them. So let's talk a little bit about what we've seen with the Hawks. 8-1 since Nate the Skate has taken over. What have you seen watching them? I know you check them out every game. What has really been the big turning point for this team, in your opinion?
How they fight. I love that they fight. In the past, it was just, okay, we're down. We're not winning this game. Let's just go through the motions. Now they're fighting. They're fighting and they're playing. I love it. They beat the defending champs. How great is that? So, and the loss that they had the other night, it was just like, they still were fighting. They didn't give up. They kept fighting. So that's been the big difference. And it's been great basketball. I really love seeing John Collins go to work. I mean, he's just going to work. Trae Young, my goodness, he can shoot from anywhere. He makes it look so easy. He'll pull up a three-pointer from half court. So it's just really great basketball.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaking of that, everybody talked about in the NCAA tournament about the Curry effect. Steph Curry now causing a quantum shift in the way we play basketball with guys. Basically, no place on the court is not to be defended now. It used to be that if a guy was much past that high arc point of the three-point area, you say, man, if he hits that shot, good luck. But you got guys basically shooting from the half-court logo. So, how hard is it? Just explain to people as a defender, especially a post defender, how tough it is for someone to have to guard basically the entire half of the court.
Well, defense is tough anyway. One thing that our coach, he always had us playing man-to-man. So it was never a point where, sometimes we did play zone depending on who we were playing, but majority we played man-to-man. And it didn't matter where your player was. You were guarding them full court man-to-man. So picking them up from half court, you should be there anyway, because our coach was very strict on if your player does not have the ball, then you're denying the ball, deny. If he does have the ball, then you're playing defense, and you're when he picks up the dribble, it's dead. So he was very, very defense oriented. And so it wasn't just, okay, you pick them up when they get to the 3-point line or when they get in the paint. No, he had us picking them up full court. Most of what we did was full court man-to-man.
Yeah, and so one of the problems that it creates, especially when you have a guy like Trae Young, that's again unlimited range. A lot of discussion is also why they seem to be winning is because when you have that type of range, now the spacing becomes much better, especially when you try to go to a half court game, because as you mentioned, you have to now defend the entire half court from the out of bounds to basically the half court line, which, before this kind of shift, you kind of, I don't say you could cheat, but you didn't really have to defend the guy if he must out past the 3-point line. And the Hawks, you know what I mean? So now that's a big difference.
Oh, yeah. Before they started shooting all those long threes, a lot of guys would just typically run down. Once they get to the 3-point, they turn around. They wouldn't really guard or, play up on their player, like you said, if they were far behind the 3-point arc. It was just like, okay, they're good back there. They're not going to shoot and make that shot. And now it's like, okay, I need to get out there. So whenever they cross half court, let's pick them up and let's play some good defense, because we can't take those big threes. It's a game changer, and it picks up the momentum.
Yeah, and the other thing too, obviously, that has been the key, actually has been a key cog all season, but now that this team has been rounding the form, of course, he's been injured lately, is Clint Capella. His dominance inside, and as you mentioned earlier, the stellar player John Collins, actually a couple of years ago, smartly understanding that as a 4 that could sometimes have to play even a 3 in a pinch, he was a guy that knew, hey, I got to expand my game from just being a dunk master, a guy kind of in the paint, to being able to have range. And now Collins really is a guy that's a very difficult guy to guard, because he can hit the 3, he can hit that mid-range jumper, and of course we know that he can play above the rim.
He can, and I'm so disappointed in myself, because I was definitely going to have my John Collins jersey to show, but I'll have to bring it next week, because he's been playing phenomenal. So I wanted to put up his jersey just because he's been playing just so phenomenal. His shot, I mean, just everything. He's really been big keys to the Hawks winning.
Yeah, I think another thing too is that the whole. Now, even though there's still some scuttlebutt stupidly about, the Hawks either not signing him to a max contract or even potentially trading him, I think that the other thing that the new coach brought is the idea that, hey, listen, you're our guy, okay? Regardless of what kind of things going on as a professional, especially, you got to handle your business. The money will take care of itself, but you're an integral part of this team. And I'm not sure how good of a job that Lloyd Pierce did in making sure that Collins knew that, hey, you're an integral part of this team, and you really have to put the contract stuff behind you.
Yeah, I think this new coach is definitely doing great things on and off the court, and you can tell that a part of that is what you discussed with talking to John about his contract, because when that's at the forefront of your mind, that's all you're thinking about. And when you're going to play basketball, you can't have that at the forefront of your mind. The first thing that you need to be thinking about is your team and getting that W. And so it's if you produce, you'll get the contract, which I personally think they should pay him. He's phenomenal. I mean, look at what he's doing. His numbers speak for themselves. So I do think that this new coach is just putting everything in perspective for these guys. And you hear that they believe, even when you're talking to them or when you listen to them in their interviews after they play. They believe in themselves, and they were so disappointed when they lost the other night. And normally that was a difference in the past times when they lost, because they got so used to losing. They was just like, okay, it's another loss, it's another loss. They were really disappointed that they lost. It's a big difference. I think that the move with the coach made a difference, and it definitely helped them.
Yeah, so, at the end of the day, even John Collins talked about in post-game interviews the fact that they kind of, I don't want to say got distracted, but they kind of lost sight of things. And they were very, very disappointed that they weren't able to pull out a game, that they had a pretty healthy lead into the second half. So, yeah, this idea of, hey, okay, we just lost the game. And, one of the things that irritate me beyond no end, and I know that it's jargon's used on Fox and those used on ESPN, but I used to hate Lloyd Pierce constantly come on and say it's a make-miss league. Okay, listen, I get it. I mean, What are you trying to tell me? It's a make-miss league. Okay, yes, if you make more shots than your opponent, or if you miss less shots than your opponent, you win a game. Come on, man. I mean, it's at every press conference, always saying, well, it's a make-miss league. It's a make-miss league. Oh. I mean, there's more to it than that. It's just not, there's strategy involved. I mean, come on, man. I mean, but again, unfortunately, again, seemed like a nice man on and off the court, but this is why he's no longer the head coach. I mean, just wait a minute. I see in the background, the Guardian has arrived.
You.
Well, look, we got to take a little time out for a second, and we're not going to go to a commercial break, but we do want to give a big shout out to all those people who are listening to the show on WIGO 1570, because we're getting close to the 9 o'clock hour. We just have a couple of minutes to go on the air, so we have to start our sign off. Listen, guys, we appreciate you for tuning in every week. We appreciate those of you who listen to it on WIGO 1570 or on the app, TuneIn Radio. We also appreciate the folks that are behind the glass, because at the end of the day, if we don't have engineers and people to do that, you wouldn't hear us at all. So big shout out to Eli Smith, a guy who does a tremendous gospel show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 noon, called the Eli Smith Gospel Show. Great gospel music from old school to new school. Thank you for him. And also, when he's not there, big shout out to Miss Erica. Erica does a phenomenal job. She's kind of like our pinch hitter. Anytime we need an engineer, she comes in to help us out. So, Erica, if you're on the board tonight, big kudos and shout outs to you. And last but not least, to our station manager, Kevin Buchanan, who's the station manager, program director, de facto sales manager, and kind of chief cook and bottle washer. So thumbs up and big shout out to you. All right, everybody, WIGO, listen, until the next time you get a chance to listen to us, we appreciate you so much. Please remember, follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports 7. Remember, I'm a real live preacher, so I'll be on tomorrow morning on WIGO 9:30 a.m. on the Clarion Call Show. Tune into that as well. We'd love to have you as we, as they say in the preaching trade, break the bread of the word of life. We're going to be talking, as we always do, from the Bible, and hopefully giving you good inspiration and encouragement to get to know the Lord personally through his son, Jesus Christ. All right, until the next time at WIGO, God bless you and good night. All right, those of you on social media, wait a minute, don't log off. Hold it. I see people on Facebook, don't log off. Stay right here as we continue to talk about our Atlanta Hawks as we push up into the 9 o'clock hour. Speaking of social media, let's go to social media right now. And we have a man from DNK, Suit City, H.C. Hardy, has arrived. And his comments are the following. He said the main thing is Nate McMillan brings wisdom on and off the court as a former player. And this is what the millennial athletes needs, especially African-American athletes. So what do you think about H.C. Hardy, saying basically, almost the coach being a father figure to a lot of these guys?
Well, I don't know about the father figure part, but I do agree. It's similar to what I was saying, that he's bringing great things on and off the court, which is just about life. And, that's what great coaching is. It's not just about the sport that you're playing. It's about life. If you're not having a successful life, or if you're not feeling that you're doing well, you're not going to be able to perform no matter what you're doing. So I think that he's definitely helping the players on and off the court. And I think that's a great thing. As far as being a father figure, I really don't know enough of their personal lives to be able to comment on that one.
Yeah, and so I think that's probably just me reading into what he's talking about in terms of the guys, in terms of their age, being millennial type age, and him being kind of a sage and wise guy. I guess you can even call him that, that good uncle, and just like you said, a good coach. Because really, if you look at any of the documentaries about great coaches, no matter what sport it is, football, basketball, baseball, all the guys later on, even if they, at the time when they played, like you talk about having a tough coach, weren't that excited about going through the drills and the intensity of the practices, almost to a man, these guys all talk about later how the coaches, what they learned, they were able to apply it in their homes, in their businesses, and just help them to be better men. So there's no doubt that, a head coach, no matter whether you're millennial age or whether you're old school like me, I don't care what it is. If you have someone that can really give you some wisdom and some guidance, you can't beat it. So it looks like Nate McMillan is doing exactly that.
It does. I know I still talk about my coach. I still thank my coach, Dave Mann. Shout out to Dave Mann in Detroit, Michigan. He is the best coach in the world. It's because of his hard work and all of his discipline and the way that he coached us. He taught us about life. He made sure our schoolwork was done. He just phenomenal coach. I did not appreciate him all the way when I had him, but when I went to college, I wrote him the longest letter just thanking him. Coaches really make a difference.
Oh, no doubt. And let's speaking of John Collins, I just want to review this for a second here. And you guys, if you want to go to a great website to get information, usually if after you put the player's name in there, this website pops up. They actually do this for all sports, but in the case of basketball, it's called basketball-reference.com. And these guys basically are, if you're a stat wonk, these guys are all about it. So the Hawks, in their mind, think it's a good idea to trade a guy that they drafted and got as a steal in the first round. I think he was the 17th or 18th overall pick. All right. He has averaged in his 4-year career here in Atlanta 16.6 points and 8.6 rebounds a game. And last year, he hovered somewhere around 20 and 10 for the season. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and pull his stats out for last year. His scoring average was 21.6 a game, and he averaged, that's right, 10.1 rebounds a game. So why on earth would you trade a man who just came off a season averaging a double-double? I don't get it. Second year in the league, 19.5 points a game, 9.8 rebounds a game. This year's dipped a little bit because of Clint Capella, but still averaging 18.3 points a game and 7.8 rebounds per game and averaging just above 1 block a game. So I don't get it. There's nothing really to think about. I mean, I don't get it. All right, let's go to social media again. Here we go. Going to our man, affiliate man. And he says, wonder if he could coach the Falcons too. Here we go. And our man H.C. Hardy, he says, example how Mark Jackson developed Curry and Thompson before he was asked to leave by the management team there at an ownership group out in Golden State. And last but not least, another great friend of the program, William Hill. He says they're buying into the concept of teamwork and dedication. So I think everybody agrees with you, Tree, that the whole thing that turned this around is good coaching.
Oh, definitely. And I agree with, I think it was Hardy that put it, with Mark Jackson. He was such a great coach. The guys respected him. He came in there and he made a great difference. And it was really sad for me to see him get fired. I just thought, I did not agree with that decision, but great coach. And he instilled some great things in those guys that they're still using to this day.
No doubt. Yeah. I mean, so this guy was, unfortunately, in that world, when you're talking about guys, owner groups that are worth that much money and have egos usually to match the amount of their bank account, they're not putting up with you telling them what to do. And when they tell you to do something, they don't care how many games you win, because Mark Jackson was a winner at Golden State. They said, dude, you're going to do what we tell you to do, or you're going to hit the highway. And Mark Jackson was like, I'm not backing down. And to some degree, I don't blame him. You have to keep your integrity as a man or as a woman for that matter. So that's it.
So true, because I'm the same way. I am the same way.
We already know. We see you wearing the maize and blue. And when somebody said something about the Big Ten, I saw them dark eyes narrow and focus like, what you say? All right, guys, to remind you here, we're wrapping up here our topics for the night. Again, forgive my misspelling there. It says Hawks winning. It should say March Madness. We already discussed that. Community outreach. So lovely Miss Elaine Armster from Linkscape 360 talks to us about her women's history event. And before we get into the NFL draft and the Falcons free agency, unfortunately, we have to deal with some of the negative aspects of sports. Desean Watson, a guy, hometown hero, played right here up in Gainesville. A guy up until this point had a stellar reputation in the community. Now his name is being attached with multiple sexual harassment claims. As a matter of fact, affiliate man asked the question, what do we think about Desean Watson? So, Tree, as much as I hate to get into this, any thoughts about what you're hearing about Mr. Watson?
Yes. So most people probably will be surprised at my take on it, since I am a woman. And I do think that every time a woman comes forward, that there should be an investigation for what they are saying happened, because a lot of times things do happen and nothing is done for it. So it takes a lot for women to come forward when they have been abused or something has happened. And when it comes to Desean Watson, do I believe it? Not really. So I also know that in 2021, you also see a lot of times where people pay women to say, hey, this happened, this happened, this happened, and it really didn't happen. So sometimes you get people to pay people to try to ruin that person's reputation. And one thing about me, which you know that I talk about all the time, I look at character in people. Does this really match up with your character? I don't know Desean Watson. I've never met him a day in my life. I only can go off of what I see on television and how he portrays himself. And yeah, you do have some people that are like night and day. It just doesn't go with his character. Does it mean that he could not have done it? Yeah, he definitely could have done it. So what I'm waiting for the evidence. I'm waiting for the proof. I'm waiting for the evidence. Innocent until proven guilty. I'm not one of those people where I'm just going to say, oh, he shouldn't get a team. He should get let go and all of this. No, these are allegations. I want to see what evidence they have to come and say it. And then also another point, I don't know. It's just weird that all of these women are coming forward saying all of this. And typically when we get massages or different things, we stick to that one or two people, like if this person isn't available. So you don't typically just go to all I don't know. Just for me, a lot of things are not making sense. So I'm waiting for the evidence to see what comes of the investigation.
Yeah, it all sounds a little slim shaded to me because I'm a guy that I'm always about timing. And the timing of this seems very odd to me. Well, one man that doesn't seem odd to me is the guy that is the number one go-to man if you want to know anything about the Atlanta Falcons. He's the embedded sports writer for AJC Sports for the Falcons, award-winning journalist, and Esquire par excellence. You know he's back. The one and only D. Orlando Ledbetter is back in the building. D-Led, what's going on, man?
Thank you, Reverend Simmons. Thanks for having me on the show, and nice seeing you again, Miss Tree.
Hi, D-Led. Nice seeing you as well.
Well, D-Led, good to have you back as always. I know you've been a busy man. You got all kind of things going on, pro days. Obviously, we're moving closer and closer to the draft. Talk now that it will be live in Cleveland. So I'm sure you think about making plans to go out to that as well. But before we get into Falcons and draft talk really quickly, you've been around this game for a long time. Your thoughts about the Sean Watson situation. Before you do that, I'll pop up some of the comments that you're seeing here on social media. William Hill talking about is it a shakedown or is it a setup? He also talking about what would the Texans do and what would the NFL do. So a lot of thoughts out there in social media. D-Led, kind of what are your thoughts?
Yeah, having covered the league and some of these allegations and situations, and the one that comes to mind was in Cincinnati, where we would not trying to get my collar right. We don't report civil lawsuits because I was in law school at the time. There was a situation in Seattle with the Bengals and some let's call them entertainers, and stuff went sideways, and they worked it out. But yeah, this happens. But as far as the media was concerned, we weren't going to write it because it was all about money. It wasn't any criminal activity going on. It was adults doing adult things. So the burden of proof in a civil case is much lower. That's a preponderance of the evidence as opposed to a criminal case when it's beyond a reasonable doubt. So, there's got to be some responsible reporting here. Now, I understand, Desean was being very vocal about wanting to get out of Texas, want to get out of Houston. For those of us who have been to Houston, they have let's call it a thriving adult entertainment community. And ancillary to that is perhaps the massage industry. So, if something's going on there, sure the security that the Houston Texans have know about it. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to connect the dots there to, hey, all of a sudden these cases start showing up when he's trying to get out of town and embarrass the hometown team. So I just think they should have handled it, David, his attorney, when it was at 3 and 4, because 15 and 16 is just a money grab at that point. But if some things did go wrong and someone was harassed, then the police should have been called, and an investigation should be made, not a demand, an extortion demand for money, which is what we understand that to be in this situation. And even if that was the case and something went sideways, which which happened in '89 in Seattle, they handled it. If it's financial, it's financial, and you do what you do and do the agreements. But he should have never let it escalate to this 14, 15 number. If it was something that needed to be handled, it should have been handled a little bit more professionally on his side also.
Yeah, the whole thing to me just doesn't seem right. Like I said, it's all about timing, and to me, it just doesn't look right at all to me. Let's go here. H.C. Hardy says, as Hezekiah Walker sung his song, oh, he got the preacher, he got the gospel music. He said, will not fall, will not bend, won't compromise. God favored me. Stay strong, Watson. This is only a test. Man, he done broke out the whole lyrics from the gospel song. He said, I'm gonna back him up. Well, look, at the end of the day,
there's one thing like what D-Les said, when it was 3, they wanted money. When he turned down the money, that's when more people came. Then they made another offer for money. When he turned down the money, that's when more people keep coming. So it seems as though more people keep coming because he's not paying them money.
Yeah, the whole thing to me like I said, just doesn't seem right. It just, the time, if this had happened before all this stuff hit the fan with him and the Texans, I'd say, hey, you know what? Even I still would be skeptical, but I would say, hey, man, these things happen. Because never in my wildest dreams did I think, after seeing this young man, and especially coming from the world of golf, that Tiger Woods would have been wilding out the way he did. But evidently, he was. So, you just don't know. You can't judge a book by its cover. All right, one last thing here on the Desean Watson thing. William Hill said, basically, no more massages for you, young man. Yeah. I mean,
there's a difference from wilding out, like what Tiger did, and being accused of being inappropriate.
True. I mean, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be real smart here. I ain't saying nothing. Because what happened is, if I say something, they will say, oh, you heard the preacher say on his sports show? So I'm going to leave this where it lays. All I would say is there's a lot of mischief that goes on out there in the general public. Me personally, I never understand why athletes, I don't understand, like you said, well, you have to have multiple people massaging you. I'm thinking normally you would have like your favorite person because of discretion. I mean, not even because you're trying to do anything, just that these people are very close to you and helping you recover. I'm thinking you should have that favorite gal or guy. And I definitely ain't going on Instagram. So that's the other thing that messed him up. But I heard the gals on Instagram looking around like, oh, I see, yeah, that's not a good look. All right, well, anyway, enough of that. Let's instead shift. D-led breaking news coming out of the Falcons camp. They've been spending some money. What's going on?
Yeah, free agency tracker. We was finishing up the podcast for tomorrow. We got a hold of Matt Ryan's restructured contract. So we went over those numbers and trying to get everybody updated on where they are. They don't have the full roster where everybody knows that. You get up to 90 players, they're just at like 40, 48 now if you add them all in. So they got a little bit of money to get up to that and to get the 9 draft picks in here and move on. But they've signed Eric Harris, the safety from the Raiders, who looks like a Ricardo Allen replacement. Brandon Copeland, a special teams linebacker, kind of bigger, 265-pound guy. Lee Smith, a backup tight end, type blocking tight end. Art Smith loves his tight ends. He played 4 for more than 200 plays last season. And then Markevius Mingo, the old SEC people know him from LSU, 6th overall pick to Cleveland in 12. Been around the league for a long time, played for a lot of teams lately, the Bears. And so, that's a quality guy who could come in and play their scheme. And then, of course, running back Mike Davis from Stone Mountain, Stevenson High. James Davis's little brother played for the Gamecocks, and he's coming off a 1,000-yard year. I believe he's 28. So, you know, he should have a couple years left in the tank there to help the Falcons transition at the running back position.
You know, I look at this, and again, the comparisons are kind of broad, so don't forget my broad brushstrokes here. But this formula reminds me a lot of what I saw in that window between 2008 and 2012 when the Falcons made that run. Bringing in, now I can't compare Mike Davis to the burner. You know, just kind of average per carry is a lot less, but kind of bringing in a running back that had been shown flashes that he could be a starter in the backup role, trying to bolster the defense and to really set Matt Ryan up where he could get back to pass action offense. It looks like the Falcons are kind of letting us know that they're going to try to make more and more run at this at least with the Matt Ryan and possibly Matt Ryan and Julio Jones over the next couple of years. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, no question about it, especially with the restructure. Mike Davis is a quality NFL running back. He's been with 4 teams, but you know, when he got a chance to play every down last year, he did a pretty good job. So nobody ever said he didn't run hard. He was a 4th-round pick out of South Carolina. So yeah, I didn't have him. I had the burner rated a lot higher just based on the long runs he had in preseason games backing up LaDainian Tomlinson. Davis doesn't have that kind of long speed, but he runs hard. And he doesn't have a lot of mileage on the tire there. So maybe you can. I don't know if he's your lead back, but you can certainly go to play with him on Sundays.
Yeah, it looks like they want to go by committee with him being the lead dog. Let's go back to social media again. William Hill asking the question, will this translate to winning games, number one? And, of course, our good buddy, affiliate man, is Julio going to actually play this year? And, man, they always tell me he's always hurt. Well, we already know that. I mean, you know what you get with Julio. He's a plays hurt. What do you think? Is this a team, first of all, that can at least get back to 500, and can they maybe sneak into the playoffs?
Well, Reverend, no, not with the same line. You know, you don't have. This what it is. These are guys that were, you know, Eric was cut by the Raiders. Brandon Copeland's, you know, never done much. Lee Smith's a blocking tight end. I mean, the team's problems are more widespread. So it's a little bit early to be talking about the playoffs. I mean, this is the last place team in the division. I mean, come on, let's be real. They're 4-12. They got the quarterback killed for 3 years in a row. They didn't rush the passer. And signing these 5 guys didn't fix any of that. So let's just pump the brakes. Let our new GM and his new coach get you know, some people in here. And, you know, they don't want to call it rebuilding, but, you know, let's get our last place first before we start talking about the Super Bowl.
Now, Trey, I know you got a lot of questions and comments for D-Led there after that. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Well, actually, D-Led said it all. So D-Led has said it all. There. What else can you say after that? Drop the microphone.
No doubt. Yeah, so these guys they're just, I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. I mean, these moves here, and let's go to social media one more time with affiliate man says, got to love D-Led. Yep, that's true, because he does tell it what it is. Matter of fact, I remember when D-Led got into a little Twitter beef with a highly touted first rounder that was not playing that well. And the guy actually came back and said, hey, man, you're not watching me. And D-Led said, yeah, I'm watching you and the film. So, yeah, that's what you're going to get with D-Led. He's always going to give it to you straight, no doubt.
That's how I like it. Tell it like it is. There's no need to sugarcoat it or beat around the bush. Just tell it like it is.
No doubt. Let's let him. I'm gonna give the new GM a chance to get his program in.
Right.
New coach. Maybe he could work a miracle. That was a miracle in 2008 when Coach Smitty got him to 11-8. One good thing though, hey, the schedule is kind of weak. We don't know how it's gonna break down. We need to see when the schedule comes out. You know, I know they got to go to Dallas and a couple of the Western football teams. Gonna be a tough one. So, you know, the schedule isn't as strong as it was last year. The new coaches, if you don't have an off season, you got to put in your program with no exhibition games and so forth. That'll be hard. So there's still a lot. There's a lot to go down before we get to football and Labor Day weekend. So hopefully the coach can get his mini camps in there, his installs, get some players in here, get the line in the weight room or wherever they got to go to get better. Draft some more linemen to come in there and make them more competitive. Find some pass rushers somewhere. They got a long list of things to do, but they got time right now. So let's just kind of give the GM and the new coach a chance to, they only been on the job about 6 weeks here, 6-7 weeks. So I'm willing to be patient with them, but I know they got a long to-do list.
No doubt. H.E. Hardy says the key is having a running back that actually run downhill and most of all catch out of the backfield. Gurley only had just over 160 yards in total receptions. That's what he thinks. I don't have the stats in front of me either. So, well, I don't know, man. You got a long road to hoe. They got a lot of things to do. I'm going to just touch briefly here on this draft. I'm going to go to my lovely co-host, Ms. Dolman. I know you've been an aficionado of defense, but I'm going to ask this question. I think you answered it last time. You always have stayed true to this. I'm going to see if you shifted at all. Do you still think the Falcons should hold on to that number 4 pick, or should they trade back?
So I still think they should hold the pick and just draft the best person available. Depending on what they actually do, who knows? But I don't think I'm going to change. I think I'm sticking with it.
Well, D-Led, what do you think? Trade back or stay with what you got?
Yeah, I'm leaking over to the trade back camp, but that was because I think you need, because there's so much they need to get fixed here, and I don't see the knockout home run hit pick at 4 anymore. I want, once they restructure Matt Ryan's contract, that took the quarterbacks off the board for me. Okay. The Jets, Corey Davis just said today that it's his understanding that Sam Darnold is the quarterback of the Jets. So that takes Zach Miller out of 2. So that means the Falcons will have their pick of the best quarterback behind Trevor. So, you can trade out of there. Somebody I wouldn't trade with Carolina, but if New England wants to come up and get them, let them come. And, amass your picks. You can go back, get Michael Parsons, maybe 15, go get Najee Harris. Then you're ready to roll.
Yeah, so the Patriots are an interesting party to trade with. Belichick's a sharp guy, so you better have your both hands on your wallet and everything else, because he gonna try to take it to town, brother. So one thing I will say, before I was not necessarily, I'm not trying to say I'm on his bandwagon now, but I did actually watch the snaps. There was someone on YouTube actually had all the snaps from the bowl game against UCF. Now, I'm not trying to say Central Florida is any type of SEC team, but the one thing I can see why the scouts are very enamored with Zach Wilson, that guy gets that ball out of his hands very, very quickly. Now, please don't light me up, folks. It reminds me, in terms of the speed of getting the ball in his hand, it reminds me of what Brady developed in his final years as he got older. He's had to get the ball out of there to avoid contact. Zach Wilson, I mean, that ball is gone in a heartbeat. And the one thing he does bring to the table is he's not a traditional just drop back quarterback. He can move around. I mean, he's not Justin Fields, but he's pretty nimble. So I see why the scouts are pretty enamored with him now. Once I really kind of watched him, he's got some tools.
Yeah, I just I go by the old test of the old guys. You got to play 30 games, at least 30 games, and you got to win 75% of them. That's generally the Bill Parcells rule. What Bill Polian told me it was. So, and the only quarterback in this draft that passed the Bill Parcells test is Trevor Lawrence. So, none of them have played more than 30 games. You making big projections, and we see the NFL mess that up every year. They mess it up every year. They mess up the quarterback spot every year. I'm going back to Cade McNown over Donovan McNabb. That year they had all those quarterbacks. You can go to Just you can just go a few years back to Trubisky. You can go back to a few years where the kid out of Florida State went 12 to the Vikings. So Terry, the new GM, can't mess up the quarterback thing. So might as well draft the best player there. That might be the tackle from Oregon, the tight end from Florida. But I mean, he's just a receiving tight end. The Falcons' problem is power. They can't block and they can't get after anybody. So what you gonna do? Just outscore everybody with no blocking? That hasn't worked. They tried that already.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't. This idea about them taking a tight end at 4. I mean, yeah, the guy. I mean, listen. Again, watching the film, anytime you hear of a story of a guy playing almost the whole season not dropping a pass, that's pretty impressive. And he is a physical specimen at 6'6", 250. I think he runs a 4.6 40. So, but man, I mean, for a tight end, I don't know. I mean, he better be the next Tony Gonzalez or Kelsey or somebody. All right, let's go to H.C. Hardy here as we get ready to wrap up here. Let's see what he has to say. He said, but the key is having a running back. Oh, we got that already. Let's go back here to this one. He says, William Hill says we should pick Justin Fields. I mean, can I tell you the truth? Let me put the shades on here for a second. Wrong, that's regular glasses. Let's put the shades. Here we go. I think everybody still.
I want my shades too.
10 years later, y'all still have a Michael Vick hangover. He's not coming back, okay? I watched the highlight film myself. I shed a little tear. I got a little excited, but Justin Hardy's not Michael Vick, okay? Those are two different guys. I know a lot of y'all also, tell the truth, you want a black quarterback. I get it, but at the end of the day, you want to win a Super Bowl. That's the paramount thing. I don't care if the quarterback's orange, okay? You want to win a Super Bowl. So y'all stop tripping and let the Falcons pick the best player available in the draft. And don't be mad because you're trying to, again, win a Super Bowl. Am I right?
Preach, Reverend, preach.
That's the goal. I'm about to pass the virtual offering tray. If y'all want, okay, let me stop. I'm going to get in trouble. Let me slow my roll. Well, D-Led, listen, man, it's been an incredible weekend. Like I said, we had a lot of signings. A lot of stuff going on, and really the Falcons are going to be must-see TV, man, for the next 3-4 months as we get into the season.
Yeah, a couple of things are coming up, Reverend. Before we get to the draft, the Justin Fields Pro Day, Falcons should be going to Provo for Zach Wilson's Pro Day on Friday, and then April the 5th, 6th. The 5th teams can go back into the buildings. The Falcons Day is the 6th, but to start off-season workouts. But they're not allowed back in the building yet here, according to our rules and so forth in Georgia. So, as folks get vaccinated, maybe they can move that. I mean, I'm in no hurry. I want everybody to be safe and healthy. If they're open by training camp, I'm good. They can go lift weights on their own. They don't need to be underneath the coaches for that. Maybe some guys do, some guys don't. So, but they're gonna get ready and try to earn their money. They're gonna be professional and do that. So those are some of the things that are right in front of us. The BYU Pro Day, Justin Fields on the 30th. I don't know how much he's gonna do. I don't know if he's recovered from the injury. But those are the first two things we got coming. And then the off-season program, what they're going to do as far as, letting the players back in. They don't even have the staff back in the building, so I can't see how they're going to get the players in there before April the 6th.
All right, so the NFL said we going back to 2018. We're going to have the draft in Cleveland. We got the fans there. D-Led, you heading to Cleveland?
No, I was on that call. I would be right at my because I'm getting my second one on the 15th, so the 29th might be too soon. So I'm not going to be bothered with that this year. I'm gonna slow my roll like I'm supposed to. But I was on their call and they said everybody's got to be masked it's gonna be open air. If you know Cleveland like I do, it's all open along the lakefront. It's gonna be like the barbecue cookout in the summertime, but it's probably not gonna be 80 degrees along the lakefront. So the people that go are gonna be those hardy souls that'll bundle up and wear their mask, and they're gonna have a vaccine verification, event. So you're not just. It's not just they don't want it to be a super spreader, and they're going to take all the precautions to, make sure that those areas, the inner areas where the players are and the fans are, COVID vaccinated and mandatory masks. So I was on a conference call with the doctors and league office this week because everybody's like, well, how are y'all going to have an open draft? So they're like, those were some of the things they knew, and they were going to start having a lottery for fans to apply for tickets and go. But it's going to be a staged event. It's not going to be, a massive thing like Nashville, especially in post-COVID or hopefully the end of COVID days. So, I have the option. I mean, that's the first place I got to go. Is to Cleveland and see my mom, but it's not going to be for the NFL draft, I don't think.
I had to get a close up of her face on this tree. We going?
No.
Yeah. Please, no.
No.
I had to get the close up of the queen. She's like, nah, brother, call me. You can get, if you're going to do that, you might as well put the number, set it on fire, because I'm not coming. All right. Well, listen, it's unbelievable. We've actually reached the end of our time here. So we have to do it. We like to make sure all our guests that come on are able to let people know how they can find out more about them. So, D. Orlando Ledbetter, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Reverend. You can find all of my work on ajc.com, our website, and the Facebook page, Atlanta Falcons News Now. Slide by there and like it. We tweet everything out on Twitter at DOrlandoAJC. We got the Bowtie Chronicles podcast coming, episode 255 at 8 a.m. in the morning on Wednesday, and then the Cover 9 at 9 blog at 9 a.m. Take care and have a great rest of the week.
There you go. D. Orlando Ledbetter in the building. So until next time, God bless, and we always appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's the Orlando Ledbetter in the building. He's the guy. If you want to know anything about the Falcons, he's the man right there, right there. Well, we also have the woe man here, the queen. The floor is yours.
Hello, everyone can find me on Instagram at It's Latresa. That's ITSLATRESA, and you'll be able to find all of the other things that I do there. That's my Instagram and my Twitter handle.
There you go. See, we keep it nice and simple and easy for you guys. There it is. Follow her at It's Latresa, and that's it. You don't have to go like 18 different places. If you need to, she can direct you from there. No problems, no worries. Okay, if you want to follow me at Minister J. Sims. That you're gonna get a lot of inspiration on that. I do the daily, usually daily Bible verse, got like a little mini video, a little music. Hopefully it'll let you be able to see the scriptures to inspire you and kind of give you some encouragement. Please follow the show. We're at Real Talk Sports 7, anywhere on social media. There we are right there, Real Talk Sports, the number 7. Remember, we also we have our own YouTube page. Let's see if I got that link here somewhere over the rainbow. Hey, I can't find it. Anyway, yeah, follow us on YouTube. Go to our page, put in Real Talk Sports, and you'll find us. Here's the link right here. Bam, there it is. We're actually Real Talk Sports TV on YouTube. Remember, you can see us actually on Roku now. We're on the Phoenix Entertainment Channel. We're also on the C Room Sports and Entertainment Channel as well on Roku. So we be like everywhere. And remember, when you go to YouTube, subscribe, and hit the little bell so it'll give you a notification that in fact we are on the air. So we appreciate you so much. All right, guys, before I go, I always like to encourage you, if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, your personal Savior, please, man, please, sir, get to know him today. Nobody loves you like Jesus. Absolutely nobody. Not your mom, not your auntie and them, not grandmom, not your baby, your boo. He loves you. He died for you. And if you believe in him, you get to be a citizen of the kingdom of heaven and get to go to a happy place called heaven, and not that bad place. Remember, you can check me out for some ministry tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. at the Clarion Call Show, or go to WIGO1570.com and check us out. All right. Until the next time, We'll reach you from the sunny shores. We say God bless you and good night.
Go Blue.
Oh, she had to say it, didn't she?